why is this movement important?
Люди могут спросить, а в чем важность этого движения?
Is disease important? Is disease important?
Болезни важны.
How many hospitals are there in Russia and Syria?
Сколько больниц существует в России и в СНГ?
Is old age important?
Старость важна.
How many people get old?
Какая статистика?
How many percent of the people die?
Статистика 100%.
Can you tell me?
Можете мне сказать? Какой процент людей в России умирает? Есть исследования? 100%.
100%.
100%.
So is that important?
Так что это важно?
And taking rebirth again and starting all over.
И затем родиться снова и начать все это сначала.
So this movement can save people from birth, death, old age, disease.
И вот это движение реально спасает людей от рождения, смерти, старости.
What is more important than that?
Что же может быть более важным, чем это движение?
People, they're absorbed in this temporary happiness.
Обычно люди просто поглощены каким-то временным счастьем,
And they miss a real point.
и они выпускают суть.
The Lord Chaitanya has come to give everybody eternal, immortal life.
Но Господь Чайтанья пришел для того, чтобы дать каждому вечную жизнь.
And to give transcendental happiness.
И дать каждому трансцендентное счастье.
What is more important than that?
Так что же может быть более важным, чем это?
But people being absorbed in this temporary life,
Но люди поглощены этой временной жизнью.
they ignore the Krishna conscious movement.
И они не обращают внимания на это движение сознания Кришны.
And they don't think it to be important.
И не считают его чем-то важным.
So we need to educate the people.
Поэтому мы должны давать людям образование в этих вопросах.
When Lord Chaitanya came,
Когда Господь Чайтанья пришел в этот мир,
he spent the 24 years of his life as a grihastha.
он провел 24 года своей жизни как грехастха
In the Sankirtan movement.
и основал движение Санкиртана.
He spent the next 6 years traveling.
Затем следующие 6 лет он провел в путешествиях.
And then he was constantly preaching the glories of Krishna.
И он постоянно проповедовал любовь к Кришне.
18 years in Jagannath.
Последние 18 лет в Джаганнатхапуре.
He spent a part of his time on his personal research.
Часть времени он посвящал своему личному постижению истины.
And the rest of the time he was also propagating the message.
Но остальное время он раздавал милость.
he sent Lord Nityananda back to Bengal
Он послал Господа Нитьянанду обратно в Бенгалию,
to continue the propagation.
чтобы продолжать там распространять Святое Имя.
He was very focused on this.
И он был очень сосредоточен на этой цели.
So we know how he engaged his different devotees in Navadvip.
Он знал, как занять этим различных преданных в Навадвипе.
Last year I told how Radhadhar was personally preaching.
В прошлом году здесь на лекции я рассказывал о том, как проповедовал Гададхара.
Lord Nityananda was traveling around India.
Господь Чайтанья путешествовал здесь повсюду.
But then he was in Vrindavan.
В какой-то момент он был в Вриндаване.
And he got the realization that Lord Chaitanya had started the Sankirtan movement.
И когда во время своих путешествий по святым местам Господь Нитьянанда находился в Вриндаване, в какой-то момент он понял, что Господь Чайтанья сейчас начинает свое движение Санкиртана.
So he became very happy.
И он очень сильно этому обрадовался.
But he thought he would get Siddham.
Но он подумал, что ему нужно взять с собой Шридама.
Siddham was resting in a cave of Govardhan.
Шридам в это время находился в пещере на Говардхане.
And since the Dwarkayuga, how many 5,000 years have passed?
Со времен Двапар-юги прошло всего лишь 5000 лет.
So he called outside the cave to Siddham.
И Господь Нитьянанда подошел к этой пещере, где находился Шридам, и начал звать его.
Siddham,
Шридам!
Siddham,
Шридам!
Siddham,
Шридам!
Siddham,
Шридам!
Siddham.
Шридам!
And Siddham came up, covering his eyes.
И Шридам открыл свои глаза.
Who are you?
Ты кто?
What are you calling me for?
Зачем ты меня зовешь?
I'm Balai.
Я Балай.
Oh, Balai is big. They're small.
Балай. Балай уже большой, а ты какой-то маленький.
It's Kali-yuga.
Но видишь, и Кали-юга началась.
Now, Kanai is starting the Sankirtan movement.
Сейчас наш Канай начал движение Санкиртаны.
I'm going to go and join him.
Я собираюсь пойти и присоединиться к нему.
Do you want to come with me? Do you want to come with me?
Ты хочешь пойти со мной?
He said, well, first, Balai was the only one who was beating around the Govardhan.
Но Шридам решил проверить это. Он сказал, я знаю, что Балай, Баладева, единственный, кто может обогнать меня в беге вокруг Говардхана.
So let's see if you really believe.
Так что давай-ка проверим, ты настоящий Балай или не настоящий.
So they began running,
И они побежали.
and the guy was running next to him.
И Нитай бежал прямо за ним.
And on the whole side of the boat, they circled around the far side.
И они уже обогнули Гавардхан, побежали по другой стороне.
Came down the back side,
И вернулись обратно.
were next to them,
И они бежали ухо в ухо, так сказать.
and then they came around the second circle,
И затем они уже побежали на второй круг.
and the guy pulled ahead,
И Нитай вырвался вперед.
and it was the guy ahead,
И Нитай оказался впереди.
going into the finish line,
И он первым пришел к финишной черте.
and it was the guy all the way. Hello!
Нитай победил! Нитай пришел первым.
So then, Sridham, he said, well, you must be Balai.
И тогда Шридам сказал, ну, наверное, ты и вправду Балай.
So, if you want to join me, how could I spread the Sankirtan movement?
Ну так как, сказал Нитянанда, ты хочешь присоединиться ко мне и распространять это движение Санкиртаны?
He said, yes, okay.
И Шридам сказал, да, хочу.
Well then let me shrink you down to call you aside.
Тогда Нитян сказал, давай только я тебя немножко уменьшу в размерах под стандарты Кали-юги.
And then the guy put his hand on Sridham's head,
И Нитай положил свою руку на голову Шридама.
and he was calling you to inside.
И довел его до размеров Кали-юги.
And then he became known as Ram Abhiram.
И затем Шридам стал известен как Шрирам Абхирам.
So the two went out together, two Navadip.
И вместе они пришли в Навадвипу.
You know how once they reached Navadip, Lord Nitai joined Lord Chaitanya.
И когда они достигли Навадвипы, Нитай присоединился к Господу Чайтанье.
And the two were chanting throughout the town.
И вместе они воспевали по всему городу,
Throughout Navadip Dham.
по всей Навадвипадхаме.
They were chanting
Они воспевали
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So, you know how one died with Haridas Thakur had gone door to door.
И мы знаем с вами, как Господь Нитянанда и Харидас Такур ходили от двери к двери.
How they met Gahanai,
Как они встретили Джагая и Мадхая.
and they also preached to them.
И начали им проповедовать.
First time, Nindai and Haridas were running for their life.
И первый раз после такой проповеди им пришлось спасаться от Джагая и Мадхая бегством, спасая свои жизни.
The second time,
Во второй раз
Haridas, Madai hit Lord Nindai over the head with a wine bottle.
Во второй раз Мадхай ударил Нитьянанду по голове осколком винного горшка,
Causing Lord Nityananda to bleed.
и из головы Господа Нитьянанды потекла кровь.
Nindai, he said, just because you caused me to bleed,
И Нитай сказал Мадхаю: и ты думаешь, что просто потому, что ты разбил мне голову,
does that mean I won't give you love for Krishna?
я теперь не дам тебе любовь к Кришне?
Jai, he told his brother, he'll beat him, he's bleeding, but he's still talking love.
И Джагай тогда сказал своему брату: смотри, ты ударил его, и он истекает кровью, и все равно он продолжает говорить тебе о любви.
He's not an ordinary person.
Это необычный человек.
Bow down. Bow down.
Склонись перед ним.
So, somehow the two brothers got delivered by the mercy of Nitai.
Так или иначе, в конечном итоге, оба эти брата были освобождены по милости Нитая.
And when they were delivered, there was a big commotion in Yamalok.
И когда они были освобождены, на Ямалоке начались большие беспокойства.
All their karma had been wiped clean.
Вся карма этих братьев была уничтожена, очищена.
So, Yamaraj, he came out,
И Ямарадж вышел
was the holy glory.
и спросил у своих подчиненных: что тут за шум такой?
The Dagor just delivered Jagannath.
Ему ответили: Нитай Гор только что освободили Джагая и Мадхая.
And they wiped clean all their bad karma.
И уничтожили всю их дурную карму.
So Yamaraj asked, how much bad karma did they have?
Ямарадж спросил: а сколько у них было этой плохой кармы?
Oh, if we would have put in writing, it would take warehouse after warehouse after warehouse.
И ему ответили: знаете, мы записывали все, и у нас уже склады целые накопились с описанием их греховных деяний.
And we have 26 standard hells.
У нас тут есть в аду 6 стандартных адов. 26.
But none were sufficient.
Но для них этого было недостаточно.
So we had our designers designing a new hell.
Мы уже начали проектировать новый ад специально для них.
Just for them. just for them.
Специально для них уже начали конструировать.
And how all their karmas are wiped clean.
И вот теперь вся их карма уничтожена под ноль.
The Yamaraj, they fell unconscious.
И Ямарадж упал в обморок.
And they were trying to revive him, but they couldn't.
Его пытались привести в чувство.
Lord Shiva came.
Пришел Господь Шива,
He asked, what's wrong?
спросил, что тут такое случилось.
And they told him,
И ему сказали,
and they told him, Yamaraj has fainted.
наш любимый Ямарадж потерял сознание.
Lord Shiva, he said,
Господь Шива сказал,
he's not fainted. He's not,
это не просто потеря сознания,
he's in ecstasy.
он в экстазе.
And the only way you can revive him is chanting Hare Krishna.
Единственная возможность его вывести из этого состояния – это петь Хари Кришна.
So in Yamalok, they all started to chant
И тогда все обитатели Ямалоки начали петь.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Харе Кришна, Кришна Кришна, Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Рама Рама, Харе Харе.
Lord Nindai, Lord Chaitanya, they were thinking, planning how to deliver all these fallen souls.
И Господь Нитьянанда и Господь Чайтанья постоянно думали, как же освободить все эти падшие души.
And the liberated souls who came as his associates, they're also planning how to distribute Krishna consciousness.
И все его спутники, освобожденные души, пришли вместе с ним и тоже думали, как распространить сознание Кришны.
But here, Lord Chaitanya, he told everybody in the universe, Salakari.
И вот в этом стихе, который мы читали сегодня, Господь Чайтанья провозглашает, что каждый человек в этой вселенной
Take up this order.
должен принять этот приказ
And distribute the fruits of love of Krishna.
и раздавать повсюду эти плоды любви к Кришне.
To distribute Krishna consciousness.
Распространять сознание Кришны.
So, this is also needed very greatly in Russia and CIS.
И в этих плодах есть острая потребность, также и в России, и в СНГ.
And Father went there in 1971.
Прабхупада приехал в Москву в 1971 году.
He noticed, he said, these people are intelligent.
И он сказал, люди этой страны очень разумные.
And they have a very good potential desire for spiritual life,
И у них есть хороший потенциал для духовной жизни.
but they're being kept down.
Но просто они сейчас находятся в заключении.
Soon they will break free.
И придет время, скоро они освободятся.
And again, spiritual life will be widespread.
И снова в этой стране духовная жизнь распространится очень широко.
So, this is the order of Lord Chaitanya.
Это приказ Господа Чайтани.
Maybe the Christians like this language.
Может быть, христианам нравится этот язык.
God Almighty has ordered you to distribute love of God.
Бог приказал вам раздавать любовь к Богу.
However you like it, however it works, we have to do it.
Но неважно, нравится нам этот приказ или не нравится, но мы должны это исполнять.
I could give various examples how Brajavasis, how Gopis, how boys, they're all engaged in distributing Krishna consciousness.
Я могу привести много примеров, как Раджаваси, как Гопи были заняты распространением сознания Кришны.
It's not some material activity.
Это не материальная деятельность.
It's our spiritual service to Lord Chaitanya.
Это наше духовное служение Господу Чайтани.
And Prabhupada came down to actually spread this all over the world.
И Прабхупада снизошел специально для того, чтобы распространить это по всему миру.
But Kali wants to distract us.
Но Капли хочет нас отвлечь от этого.
And therefore he has created a blossom drive.
Поэтому создает разные апасампрадаи.
Different saджyas and bolas paths.
Возникают разные сахаджи и разные ложные пути.
At the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there were 13 Apasampradayas.
Во времена Бхактивинода Такура было 13 апасампрадай.
Ала, Бала, Khattavaji,
Аула, Баула, Картабхаджи,
Paranganagari,
Дуранганагари,
Sakiveki,
Сактивеки,
Naranari,
Наванари,
Jatosai,
Джадгасай,
Sajya,
Сахаджи.
So, in other words, you can find all of it.
В Навадвипе и в наше время вы можете найти их всех.
If there's something you can't find here, you'll find it in Vrindavan.
Если здесь кого-то не найдете, наверняка найдете во Вриндаване.
And they want to attract devotees,
И они пытаются привлекать к себе преданных,
so they don't preach.
чтобы преданные не проповедовали.
They think that they're too advanced.
Они думают, что они слишком продвинуты для того, чтобы проповедовать.
Sakivekis, you see a lady doing arti,
В Сакхи-беке они видят женщину, которая делает арати,
and she turns around,
она обернулась назад,
show the lamp,
показать лампаду.
and you see it's not a lady as well.
Ага.
It's a guy with a beard.
И когда она повернулась, эта женщина, мы увидели, что это никакая не женщина, это мужик с бородой.
He's practicing what it's like to be a Sakhi.
Это он так практикуется, нося одежды сакхи.
Nara
Наванари еще есть.
Nara is man, Nara is woman.
Нара. Нара это мужчина, а Нари это женщина.
So the men, when they wear women's bracelets,
Это мужчины, но они носят женские браслеты,
ankle belts,
носят колокольчики на лодыжках
for the same reason.
по этой же самой причине.
They want to practice being a Sakhi.
Они хотят таким образом стать сакхи.
But those who are really Sakhis,
Но те, кто на самом деле являются сакхи,
they are engaged in preaching.
они заняты проповедью.
This is all offensive.
Потому что эти виды деятельности просто оскорбительны.
Masquerade. Masquerade.
Это просто маскарад.
Masquerade.
Маскарад.
So, to actually be close to Radha Madhava, we need to do what they want us to do.
Мы должны просто делать то, о чем нас попросили делать.
But Lord Krishna says
Господь Кришна говорит,
that those who say they are His devotees are not His real devotees.
те, кто объявляют себя Его преданными, на самом деле не являются Его преданными.
Those who are devotees of His devotees, they are the real devotees.
Но те, кто являются преданными Его преданных, те на самом деле Его преданными.
So we want to be Das, Anudas, Anudas.
Мы хотим быть Даса, Анудаса, Анудаса.
Not some artificial devotee.
А не пытаться быть какими-то искусственными
And
преданными.
this way, Krishna is pleased with us.
И вот только таким образом Кришна будет доволен
Radharani
нами.
is pleased.
Радхарани будет довольна.
They want to distribute Krishna praying to everybody.
Тогда, когда мы будем раздавать Кришна прему повсюду
And save them from the condition of birth and death.
и будем спасать множество людей от рождения, смерти, старости и болезней.
Of course, Krishna prema is very difficult.
Конечно, Кришна према это редкая вещь.
To achieve spiritual world is much easier.
Даже попасть в духовный мир намного проще, чем обрести прему.
So that's why Prabhupada was promoting that.
Это почему Прабхупада говорил об этом, пропагандировал это.
Also we see in verse 39, Lord Chaitanya said, save them from old age, disease and death.
И здесь также, в этом 39 стихе, Господь Чайтанья призывает нас спасать людей от старости, болезни и смерти.
Sometimes people coming. My mother is dying, son is dying. Please, initiator, please pray for her. Urgent, urgent.
Иногда люди приходят ко мне и говорят: знаете, вот моя матушка сейчас умирает, пожалуйста, срочно дайте ей инициацию, срочно.
So, giving out Krishna consciousness is urgent.
Мы видим, что сознание Кришны — это очень срочная штука.
And it can be done by women, men, everybody.
Она очень остро необходима для всех, для мужчин, для женщин.
We talked about Sridham.
Мы говорили сегодня про Шридама.
His ashram is holy.
Его ашрам находится в Хобуле.
I went there.
Я был там.
It's a beautiful temple.
Красивый храм.
So he was bathed with the door open.
Там омывают божества при открытых дверях.
And one morning he was bathing the deities.
И вот однажды утром он омывал божества.
Govindam.
Божество Гопинатха.
He was Sakra, he was friend of Krishna.
Потому что он же был Сакхой, то есть другом Господа Кришны.
So I like to bathe Krishna.
Поэтому он любил омывать Кришну.
Meanwhile, a tantric yogi,
И в это время туда пришел один йог-тантрик,
who had no respect for the Vaishnavas.
у которого не было никакого почтения к вайшнавам.
He thought, I'll show these Vaishnavas how powerful I am.
Он хотел показать вайшнавам, насколько он могущественный.
And there was one bamboo tree.
Там было дерево бакул.
He didn't know that that bamboo tree was used by Lord Nityananda to take rest.
И он не знал, что обычно под этим деревом бакул отдыхал Господь Нитянанда
After kirtan,
после того, как проводил свои киртаны.
but using his tantric powers, he burnt down the tree.
У этого йога на самом деле были мистические силы. Он взял и сжег это дерево.
Some disciple came up and told Ram, Abhiram,
И кто-то из учеников пришел к Рамабираму и сказал ему:
some crazy tantric just burned down the Lord dies bamboo tree.
и сказал ему, тут такой-то пришел сумасшедший тантрик и сжег любимое дерево Господа Нитянанды.
What?
Что? Зачем? Почему?
He put the deity down, he went running.
Шридам опустил божество и выбежал.
He saw where there was a bamboo tree before, now there was ashes.
И он увидел, на месте дерева бакул была просто кучка пепла.
Then using his mystic power,
И используя свою мистическую силу,
which normally he would keep hidden,
которую обычно он никому не показывал,
he said, Bahu Vikko Konal Dibala.
он сказал: Бакул Пунар Атиб Гава.
Again, the vocal kick came,
Дерево Бакул, явись снова.
risen from the dead.
Прямо вот из земли.
But this vocal had no fruits.
На этом Бакуле плодов не было.
It gives flowers 12 once a year.
Обычно дерево Бакул, оно цветет, приносит цветы 12 месяцев в год.
I saw that vocal tree is still standing.
Но я видел то дерево, которое возродил Шридам, Шридам, оно до сих пор находится там.
So, burning down a tree is one thing, trimming and fresh, that's another.
Он реально возродил это дерево. Знаете, сжечь дерево – штука несложная, а вот из пепла его создать снова – это совсем другое.
So then round, every round, turn around, first at country.
И затем, возродив дерево из пепла, Шридам обернулся и спросил: ну и где этот тантрик?
Oh, no,
Нет,
нет.
нет, не надо.
The tantric he saw, this guy is very powerful, very powerful.
Увидел, что этот человек на самом деле очень могущественный.
I better surrender.
И понял, что лучше просто ему предаться.
He bowed down.
Он склонился перед ним
He became a new member of the Sankirtan body.
и стал новым членом его группы Санкиртана.
So now Aviram has sit and map how to make every village Krishna conscious.
И Шридам Бхакти сидел на своей подстилочке и обсуждал, как сделать каждую деревню сознающей Кришну.
Oh, this village is not Krishna conscious,
Он увидел: о, эта деревня еще не в сознании Кришны.
but next to it is.
Вот рядышком уже деревня в сознании Кришны.
So then he said, well, let's have a big festival next to that village.
И он решил: так, хорошо, устраиваем большой фестиваль рядом с этой деревней.
Someone will come over
Кто-то должен будет прийти,
and then they'll preach to them.
и те, кто будут приходить на этот фестиваль, мы будем им проповедовать.
We'll take their contact
И будем собирать их контакты.
and gradually we'll make a group in that village.
И затем откроем группу в этой деревне.
This is what liberated souls were doing.
Вот это то, чем занимаются в этом мире освобожденные души.
To serve Lord Chaitanya,
Они приходят сюда служить Господу Чайтанье,
to serve Lord Nityananda.
служить Господу Нитьянанде.
So whether you're a temple, a bhakti riksha, or individual, this is the thing, how to carry out the order of Lord Chaitanya.
И независимо, живете вы в храме, или вы член Бхакти-врикши, или вы сам по себе, но вот запомните, вот это способ того, как исполнять приказ Господа Чайтаньи.
How to save the people from old age, disease, and death.
Как спасать людей от старости, болезней и смерти.
Hariro.
Харива!
Спасибо.
Добрача Махараджа Ки!
Oh, this year, let's make it a year of overflowing Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prem.
И этот год мы хотим сделать годом наводнения любви к Кришне.
Gauranga, Nityananda, Gauranga, Nityananda, Gauranga, Nityananda, Gauranga,
There is one question. We have time. The question is, what is the difference to take birth and die in material world, or take birth and die as a preacher in the wheels of Lord Gauranga? Вопрос, в чем разница рождаться и умирать в материальном мире или рождаться и умирать как проповедник в играх Господа Гауранги? What is the difference to take birth and die just as all people in material world, or take birth and die as a preacher in the pastimes of Lord Gauranga? Да, я бы хотел приглашение задавать сейчас.
First of all,
Прежде всего,
someone who's in the material world and they're just enjoying their karma,
человек в материальном мире наслаждается своей кармой.
suffering and enjoying.
Он страдает и наслаждается.
It says everybody who dies is bound to take birth.
Говорится, что любой, кто умер в этом мире, должен снова родиться.
Everyone who's born is bound to die.
А любой, кто родился, обязательно умрет.
Once Prabhupada, he was seen of people rushed by,
Однажды Прабхупада увидел людей, спешащих куда-то,
and his comment was
и он прокомментировал,
that these people are really dead.
он сказал, эти люди живые мертвецы,
Because they're just living to die.
они живут только для того, чтобы умереть.
But someone who's participating in the pastimes of the Lord,
Но тот, кто принимает участие в играх Господа,
they die to live.
они умирают, чтобы жить.
And they don't have to take birth again.
Им не нужно уже рождаться снова
In some conditional life.
и жить снова обусловленной жизнью.
They don't mind if they can be part of the Lord's pastimes somewhere else.
И если только они не хотят прийти снова в материальный мир, чтобы принять участие в играх Господа где-то еще.
Once you develop some affection or sentiment for the Lord,
Если вы уже развили какую-то любовь, привязанность к Богу,
then you will feel unlimited happiness.
тогда вы всегда будете чувствовать безграничное блаженство.
This is a meditation on the scripture,
Это медитация на абсолютную истину,
which is done very spontaneously.
которая происходит очень спонтанно.
I will.
Аривал. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other question? All right. you have to go take your sadhana time.
Сейчас уже нужно идти, чтобы вовремя с просада.
And I want to take this opportunity to thank all the devotees who have come from the Syrians and Russia.
И я хочу воспользоваться этой возможностью, чтобы поблагодарить всех преданных из СНГ и России.
And all the Russian speakers who come from different places.
И всех проповедников из России, которые приходили сюда.
We very much appreciate their participation in this festival.
Спасибо вам за вашу проповедь и за ваше участие в нашем фестивале.
And it's really great
Это на самом деле замечательно,
that you're here.
что вы здесь.
And we hope that the preaching will increase more and more.
И мы надеемся, что ваша проповедь будет увеличиваться все больше и больше.
All of you can taste nectar at every step.
И каждый из вас сможет наслаждаться нектаром на каждом шагу своей жизни.
Haribol.
Харибо! Харибо! И в продолжении этих слов Махараджа мы объявляем, что сегодня последний день фестиваля Бхактиврикш в Майяпуре. И мы ждем всех вас с 12 до 2 часов в Самадхи Шрилы Прабхупады. В фестивале участвуют Чападака Свами Махарадж, Чайтанья Чандра Шриан Прабху, Бхактивинода Вишнука Свами Махарадж, другие преданные. Пожалуйста, приходите, сегодня последний день. Сегодня будем говорить о развитии динамичных вайшнавских общин. Харе Кришна. У кого нет, там на выходе можно получить личные приглашения.
In addition to the Bhakti Diksha Festival held in the Samadhi now, there's also
В дополнение к фестивалю Бхактиврикш
an international Bhakti Diksha Festival right after the Gopurnima.
к этому русскому фестивалю, который проводится сейчас в Самадхи Шрилы Прабхупада, сразу после Гуру Пурнимы, там же будет проходить международный фестиваль Бхактиврикш 29, 30, 31 числа.
So we hope your representative kids will be there also.
Но мы надеемся, что какие-то ваши представители также будут и на этом международном фестивале. Харивол! Джабрак Свами Махарадж. Да.
Дорогие преданные, кто еще не успел приобрести билетики на русскую Гаура Пурниму, подойдите, пожалуйста, ко мне, я буду стоять возле русского столика, где продаются книги. Можно будет еще приобрести. Харе Кришна.
By Sundarananda Vijayvinod as his handwriting. Then also the most important find is what we think is probably the first Vaishnav songbook in our line. And this is a handwritten songbook about 50 or 60 pages written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Also a first print of his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, and also also a first print of his compilation of commentaries on the Padma Purana. That work is in Sanskrit. We also, just about 2 months ago, discovered a folder with about 60 or 70 pages of handwritten letters and also some draft articles that were written by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Here you see some letters that were written to Sundarananda Vijayvinod. That top on the letterhead there says the Gaudiya Printing Works, and the address is number 1 Altadingi Junction Road, which was where the preaching of the Gaudiya Math began in Calcutta. So this is some very important documents. You can see there Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's signature at the bottom. That's a closer look at it. And what it says is Nitya Ashirvadaya Siddhanta Saraswati, Nitya Ashirvadaya, which means literally your ever well-wisher or your eternal benefactor. And that's where Srila Prabhupada got that phrase, your ever well-wisher, from. This is a listing of office holders of the Thakur Bhaktivinoda Research Institute, which is just down the road there next to the Yog Pit. So this is a list of all the different offices from the 1930s. We also found a first print of the official biography of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati called Saraswati Jayashree. We also found the second volume, which was never ever published. So this is about 135 pages. It's in Bengali. It's virtually an autobiography of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, describing his experiences growing up as the son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur up to the age of 18 years. So these two very important biographical works will be translated this year and published by the end of the year. This is extremely important. This is the last wishes of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, 31st of December 1936 at 10:30 a.m. In other words, this is the last will of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. It was witnessed by 4 devotees, and the second item there says, advice to form a governing body of 10 to 12 persons for the management of the mission's work, but Kunja Babu will manage as long as he lives. This is the instruction to form a GBC, which Srila Prabhupada said was ignored or disobeyed, and therefore the Gaudiya mission collapsed into fragments. These are some important astronomical works which will help us with our development at the Temple of the Vedic Planetarium. This is the most of the third year from 1904, the Jyotir Vid. This was published, written and published by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. This also is an original Gaudiya Panjika, what we call the Vaishnava calendar. We think that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was the first person to publish every year such an almanac, which gives all the auspicious times, festival days, fasting days, etc. This is the first book that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wrote that was not astrological or astronomical. This is from 1899. It's a commentary on the social life of the people of Bengal. This is a survey map of India, survey of India map, Government of India, of Nadia from 1918, which was the year that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took sannyas at the Chaitanya Mat just up the road there. And it shows, here is Navadweep in the bottom left in red. I'm sorry the colours are a little faded here, but that's the Ganges River on the left. That's the Jalangi River on the right. And in the middle there we have Mayapur. And the spelling there is Miapur, M-I-A-P-U-R. Prabhupada mentions that that was the original spelling, and you can see that there was nothing there in 1918. Now, of course, we're building a city. So that's the core collection of Sundarananda. We also have a collection from our esteemed head librarian, Achyuta Prabhu. He has collected about 11,000 books over the last 20 years. Many things: Vedic sciences, mathematics, Jagannath Puri, Kirtan, 420 commentaries on Vedanta Sutra, 200 versions of the Bhagavad Gita. He also has many very rare items. This is the Sri Krishna Chaitanya Volume 1 by Nishikant Sanyal with a foreword from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. When the devotees from the Gaudiya Math went to England to preach in 1933, they were not allowed to leave until this book was completed, and they took it with them to help with their preaching. This is the first known biography of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It was published by the Thakur Bhaktivinoda Memorial Committee in 1916. This is Vaishnav Literary University of Calcutta, 1917. This is Chaitanya Chandrodaya, a drama by Kavi Karnapura. This is from 1885. This is what we think is the first English printed edition of the Bhagavad Gita. You can see dialogues between Krishna and Arjuna. This is from 1845. It was the third print. The original one came out in 1785 by Charles Wilkins. This is a work, Collected Works, Volume 6 of Sir William Jones. He died in 1794. He was an English scholar, probably the first one to start translating Vedic literature into English and publishing them. And he was a bit of a genius. He spoke fluently, reading and writing, 13 languages, and he could speak or had a working knowledge of 27 other languages. So this is an important book. This is one of the first publications of the Vedas by the scholars from Europe. Now, moving closer to home, 2 weeks ago, Jananivas Prabhu and myself went through the Almira in Prabhupada's room here in Mayapur. We found 20 postcards written to Srila Prabhupada from different godbrothers and other persons dating back to 1949 to 1950. Nobody knew that these existed, we've just found them. This is a very interesting letter. If I can read it properly, it says, this is from the Governor of Bihar's Secretariat. It says, His Excellency the Governor will be able to meet you, but he will have no talk with you about the publication of your books. And he cannot give you any help in that respect. Also, it will not be possible for His Excellency to approach any publisher, nor can he give any financial assistance. In these circumstances, it is not worthwhile for you to come to see the Governor, but if you are still desirous of seeing him, we can set up a date. And then at the end it says, you are also requested not to give your manuscripts to His Excellency. So that's a classic rejection letter that was sent to Srila Prabhupada in 1950. Prabhupada immediately replies that yes, I would like to come and see the Governor. I have no intention of helping, asking for help in the support of my publishing. I just want to come on a peace, cultural and peace mission. So he got that interview, and as soon as he arrived in Patna, in Bihar, then he immediately sent to the local newspapers an advert that Abhay Charanaravindo Bhaktivedanta, the editor of Back to Godhead, has come to Patna and he will be meeting with His Excellency the Governor to discuss a cultural peace program. So that's an indication of how determined Srila Prabhupada was in terms of his publishing. We found also an original of the English Back to Godhead from 1957 and 2 copies of his Bhagavad Darshan from 1957. Now, apart from that, we have also in our archive the personal collection of Sariputta Prabhu. You will know him as our scientist who published Vedic cosmography and astronomy and convinced us that we could actually fulfill Prabhupada's desire to have a Vedic planetarium. Sariputta Prabhu, of course, left us in 2008, but we were able to secure his entire personal archive, which is now in our library. Just about 6 days ago, I took delivery of a set of almost a complete collection of the Back to Godheads from Nrsimhananda Prabhu of ITV fame. This is half the collection and he's sending the other half later on. So we're collecting books as we go along. We want to publish whatever we have. About 50% of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's works and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's are still not translated into English and published, so that is one of our aims. And we're beginning with this find, which was the most amazing of all, a copy of the personal diary of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati that begins in 1904 and it goes through to 1936. So that will be published before the end of this year. Now, another aspect of what we're doing is we're collecting manuscripts. In 2011 and 2013, we've been very active. In January, myself and Pranava Prabhu went to Delhi to meet with this lady, Srimati Dipti Tripathi. She is the head of the National Mission for Manuscripts. That's a government-run project. They've collected about 9 million images in the last 10 years. We have applied for status as a manuscript resource center, if we get that approval, we will get funding from the government so that we can go out and collect manuscripts. By manuscripts, we mean tree bark ones on the left, palm leaf ones on the right, and in the bottom left corner, handmade paper. These are a few that have been donated to us. We're keeping them very carefully. This is a manuscript from about 300 years ago of the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, handwritten. Just across the river, there's the Gaurangatal Mandir in Navadvip. In that box, there's a very interesting manuscript which they allowed us to photograph. It is the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, handwritten by Gadadhar Pandit, with some annotations by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's one there. You can. It's a little difficult on this projector, but there's two styles of handwriting there. The top and bottom lines are said to be the handwriting of Lord Chaitanya. We've also been to Odisha, where we found one library in a very small village with 17,000 manuscripts and 40,000 books. And just across the river, in Navadvip Public Library, they have a room with 15,000 manuscripts locked up in it, which they don't allow anybody to see, nor do they have any clue what they are. So we're negotiating with them to be allowed to go in and catalogue or make a list of all the works that are there. Our team last month went to Bangladesh. On the far right there, that's Sylhet. That, of course, is where Sri Jagannath Mishra, the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, originated. And in that place, just this last month, we found another library with 9,000 manuscripts and 60,000 books. Again, these are not catalogued or listed, and they are inviting us to come there and make a catalogue, and then we'll be able to scan all the important works. So for preservation, we need to scan, we need lamination, and we need engraving. Last year, by the mercy of the GBC Committee for Science Preaching and Pratapana and Jayashree Prabhus in Sydney and several other devotees, we purchased a professional library book scanner. This cost $27,000. It does up to newspaper size, and it has this special platen at the bottom which is V-shaped, and the scanning bulb is in the top. You can do about 600 pages an hour with this scanner. So this has given us the capability now of scanning all the books in our library. We began with the Nadia Prakash, the daily newspaper of the Gaudiya Mission. That was in 31 volumes. It took 40,000 images. So it took us nearly a year to scan this publication. After scanning, we then laminated all the pages. First of all, we deacidified the paper, and then paper on the top and bottom. That enables us to handle the pages without the paper, which is very brittle, from breaking. So here you see all the Nadia Prakash volumes, and here you see the fragments that were broken off in the process of laminating and recording them. So we've got a jigsaw puzzle there that we have to put together. But this is the condition of many of the old works. They're very brittle, they're printed on acidic paper, and they've been badly affected by humidity and heat. So we've got to this process just in time. Now, all of the Nadia Prakash is being indexed. Once the indexes are done, then we'll rebind all those volumes. Now, engraving means onto metal zinc sheets. Any image can be completely reproduced. Here is a digital image of one of the manuscripts from the Gaurangatal Mandir. You clean that up and make a paper printout. Then you make a photographic negative. You put chemical on the zinc sheet. You put the negative on top, and you put it out in the sunshine. Where the sun shines through the negative, that means the writing there. It neutralizes the chemical underneath, and where the sun cannot shine through, the chemical burns the metal. Afterwards, you wash off the chemical, and you're left with a perfect reproduction in metal of any particular manuscript that you consider important. That means that long after the original manuscript is deteriorated and destroyed, you can have that in metal reproduction. Of course, that's a little expensive, so we're only going to do that for important works. News is getting out about the BRC. Here we have on the left, as you're looking, Sri Vinodananda Das. He is the youngest son of Sundarananda Vidya Vinod. He's now 84, and he is the one who donated Sundarananda's collection. He came to visit the library. He was extremely happy with the way that we're looking after his father's collection, and he made a comment that the BRC library I visited today, they keep my father's collection very nicely. I like very much. This is Pradyumna Prabhu. Some of you will know that he was Prabhupada's Sanskrit editor from 1967 to 1977 onwards. He traveled with Srila Prabhupada's party more than any other devotee in ISKCON. So he came and visited. He's a very great scholar, and he visited us in December. This gentleman on the left is Sri Bamsidas Babaji. He looks after the birthplace of Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Biyanagar. We are now under discussion with him for being allowed to scan many original manuscripts of Bhaktivinoda Thakur that have been kept there in Birnagar, but nobody has ever seen before. So we're working with them to do the scanning and preservation of those important works. And in fact, on the 29th, when we leave Mayapur in a couple of days' time, we'll be going to Birnagar to discuss more details of that. There was a party of 14 scholars from Ukraine that visited. They were very happy with the library. And this is Rebecca Manring. She is the leading scholar in America on Gaudiya Vaishnavism. We were told that she was not very favorable to ISKCON, but we invited her, Pranava invited her to see our library. She was very happy, and she congratulated us on our work. So a few comments here. This is Lucien Wong. He is a PhD candidate from Oxford University. He spent several weeks with us last year. He's very happy. This is Ruby Sain. She's a professor of sociology from Yadavpur University. We are working with Yadavpur now to begin a sociology of religions course, which they've never had in their whole history. So in this way we're making links with other institutions and universities. Now we have a website, brcindia.com. We've completely catalogued all of Sundarananda Vijayavinoda's collection. That means we've made a list of the name, the author, the editor, the publisher, the script, the year it was published, etc., etc. So anybody who's looking for a particular work, they can go onto that catalogue, it's all listed there. And then as the contents of the books are scanned, they'll be added to the website, and you'll be able to click on the title of any book, and that will bring up the contents. Similarly, with our we've scanned about 800 manuscripts. They're now catalogued and they're also available online. All the images are there. If you can read Bengali or Sanskrit, then that's a great advantage. In the building, we have a small guest house, so any devotee can come and stay there. The income from that helps to support the BRC. It's a very nice place, air-conditioned with Wi-Fi, and also it gives scholars and students facility to come and use the library. So for the future, we're not just about old books, we're collecting all new books as they come out, like Shivaram Maharaj or Mukunda Maharaj or Radhanath Maharaj or anybody who's publishing. Our manuscript mission, of course, is going on, Bangladesh, Odisha, etc. We are scanning and doing the preservation work. Just the Nadia Prakash, that 31 volumes, cost us about $5,000 to do the lamination. Of course, the website will be updated on a regular basis. Later on, we expect to have many hundreds of thousands or even millions of images available on the website. And we want to translate and publish as much of the work as possible. That's our next project. And in the not so distant future, we hope to create the core library for the Mayapur University. Srila Prabhupada requested a university in 1975. So this year we've made an application to the Mayapur temple authorities to allocate 10 acres of land for the beginning of the Mayapur University. We're also becoming affiliated with the Oxford Centre for Hindu Studies this year as well. So all of this, of course, is not free. We depend on donations from devotees. We've started a membership program. We have 4 different kinds of membership. Adopt a month. That means it costs $2,500 each month to keep everything running, to do all of the works that we're doing. So we're asking individuals or yatras to sponsor 1 month a year. If we can get 12 or 15 sponsors, it means that the library can continue its work uninterrupted. So far we've got about 6 sponsors: Bhakti Charu Swami, Sakya Roy Prabhu from Brisbane, Mahesh Advani from Dubai, Bhaktivedanta Manna, the Bahrain Yatra, and just in the last 2 weeks the Mayapur Vrindavan Trust or the MVT. So we're still looking for sponsors for the rest of the year. For those that would like to support us but individually don't have very much, you can become a Nitya Sevak member, give $1 a day or $2 a day. We have about a half a dozen devotees that do this every month. They send $30 or $60. From Russia, our Gitamrita Mataji, she sends $100 every month. Then we have a yearly membership, which is $501 per year. And then we have patron membership, which is a single donation of $10,000 or above. Bhakti Charu Maharaj was the first one to become a patron. Akrura Das from Vancouver, the TP there, is our second. Mahesh Advani from Dubai was our third. The gentleman on the left is Mr. Tooley from Melbourne. He was our fourth. And Jayashree and Pratapana from Sydney. They gave $10,000 for the purchase of the scanner. And then our latest one is Madhu Savita Prabhu from Scotland. His father died and left a small inheritance, and he gave £16,000 to the library. Finally, we would like to begin an endowment fund. That means that you accumulate money in the bank and you only draw the interest. If we can get an endowment fund of 1 crore of rupees, that's £120,000 or $200,000, that will give approximately 80,000 rupees a month in interest at the present rate of 9.3% at the bank in India. So anybody that would like to help with the library, you're more than welcome to visit. We have the guest house. Before leaving, come into Calcutta and stay one night with us. Our website is brcindia.com. You can make donations via PayPal, Lotus Imprints, or you can contact myself, harrysori@gmail.com, or if you're on PAMHO, then harry.sori.acbsb. We can have the lights back on now. So, thank you all very much.
Pack of popcorn and try to make sure that it's not just all the hard bits. Have you ever got the popcorn here in Mayapur? My God. Anyway, we won't talk about that. Anyway, she's only 12 years of age, all the way from Impal in Manipur, and she has come to dance a very traditional dance, the Krishna Avishar dance. So we really need you to make her feel at home here in Mayapur. So let's hear it for Priyambada Sango Sam Gill. Fantastic, absolutely wonderful. And now production that they want to bring next year to Mayapur Festival 2014. So if you want to see the full production, you'll give them a big, not a warm welcome, we can give them the warm welcome, but you can give them a big, rousing appreciation at the end. Deity, oui, deity, Sal. Okay, I think we're ready. But as I say, this is a shortened production, and they're going to bring their big full production next year, if you like it. Ladies and gentlemen, for the Madhura Theatre Company, a big round with the Ramayan. Hari Hari Bol!
И благоденствовала, потому что каждый желал добра другим, а не себе. ответ, как будто эхом сердце слышишь. Сита. А если Ситу имя назовешь, то тут же рама сверху разлучит.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big, big round for the Madura Theatre from Moscow. Ochin Hanasho. I have a question for you. Would you like them to come back next year with their full production? Apartment, but he couldn't find any sign of anybody else. So he basically had to accept that there was nobody there. And just as he was about to leave to go back to work, he noticed that the window was open on the ledge of their apartment. And remember, he was on the 25th floor. So he went out and looked out the window, and he saw on the ledge outside there was a man, and the man was hanging from the ledge by his fingertips. And the husband thought, ah, there he is. So he went out onto the ledge and he started to stamp on the man's hands. And he stamped on both of his fingers, and the man had to let go. And he fell, 25 floors. But somehow or another, when he reached the ground, he landed on some bushes and some trees. And he was face up like this, looking back up at the high-rise apartment. Injured, but he wasn't dead. And the man looked out over the edge and he saw him, and he saw that he wasn't dead yet. So he went back into the apartment looking for something to throw at him. And he couldn't find anything. The only thing he could find was the refrigerator. So he got the refrigerator and he pushed it out along his apartment, out to the window, and then he lined it up with the guy down below, and he tipped the refrigerator over. And the refrigerator flew down 25 floors. The guy's looking up, he can't move, he's got a broken back or whatever, and he just sees this fridge coming out. And the fridge hits him, smack bang, and kills him. So, he was a good guy actually, this guy, believe it or not. So he's got going to heaven. But heaven have a new policy. The guys at the gates of heaven have a new policy because heaven's becoming very full. So as well as being pious and qualified to go to heaven, you have to have a good story. What happened to you? So the chap at the gates of heaven said, well, what's your story? Because we've got a new policy. And he told him his story. And the guy at the gate said, wow, that's a fantastic story. Come on in. And he goes in and whatever, the whole thing's done. But while this is all happening, the husband, it's so stressful for him that he has a heart attack. Actually, okay, he has a heart attack, and it's so stressful for him that that's what happens. So then, he also dies and goes up there, and he tells his story. And of course, when he tells his story, they say, great, that's a fantastic story. And then another guy dies and goes in, and he's asked the same story. And he says, the guy in the gates of heaven says, well, what's your story? And he says, well, picture this. I'm sitting in a fridge half dressed. Okay, I think we are now ready to introduce our next act. Backed by popular demand, we have the wonderful classical Indian Bhajan brothers, the Day Brothers. A big welcome for the Day Brothers. Hari Hari Bol.
Please give a big hand for her. She's a little scared, she said. I can't hear your claps. Please give her a big hand. Now let me tell you, we literally rehearsed this in less than 3 hours. It volume to come kurun, beshi loud ragbanna. The idea was to tell you a story of the 10 avatars of Krishna, Vishnu. So this was very spontaneous, and she's very brave to be part. You can call it like a play. So I really hope you enjoy it. The Dashavatan.
The weekly prayer. It's past your bedtime. What are you doing up so late?
My dear mother, can you tell me the 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu?
The 10 incarnations of Vishnu are wonderful. The first incarnation is Matsya Avatar.
Is this how you do the fish?
You're such a sweetheart. The second avatar is Kurma, the great tortoise.
Keşavadita, Urma Sharira, Keşavadita,
This big? This big? This big? No, Kurma was gigantic. Did you know Vishnu also came as a ball?
Did he really pick up the entire earth?
The fourth incarnation is Lord Vishnudev, the half lion and half man.
दालित हिरण्य कशिपूर्तन भिंगा केशव धृता नरहरि रूपा केशव धृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश
incarnation. Was Prahlad Maharaj scared too?
No, darling. Lord Vishnudev is our protector. But Krishna can also cheat us sometimes, like he did in his fifth incarnation as Lord Vamana.
Sagam pasare mapagamaga nisagamaga gam pasar panisada sare pasare pamapagamaga nisaga छलयशी विप्र मणे अद्भुत वामन पदनखनी जनित जन जय जगदीश हरे जय
can Vishnu achieve? He can be very angry. He destroyed the warriors 21 times.
Really? He destroyed the warriors 21 times?
In his next incarnation, he killed the 10-headed demon Ravana. The next incarnation, he comes as the personality who carries the plow.
It's not so scary.
He is also very compassionate too, especially came to save the poor animals who were being slaughtered in the name of religion.
निन्दसि अग्ने विधे श्रुतिजातम् सदय हृदया दर्शित पशुघातम् सदय हृदय दर्शित पशुघातम्
Compassionate to the animals.
And in this age, he will come as donkey. You can go to sleep.
Thank you very much.
And Gora prayer. So we Gora prayer, Sita and Govinda prayer. Thank you very, very much. And of course the day brothers. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, so now we have our final dance performance of Opening 2013 here from the main stage. Just have to get out my notes because they were very insistent that I get this right. They say that I'm too flippant as a introducer of acts, just very, casual, and I should be more professional. They said I should be more professional like the light and sound engineer. Okay.
That was a good one. That wasn't poor.
Thank you, Marge. Marge is he's my yardstick for whether my jokes work or don't work. And if they don't work, he just calls them pure corn. And if they do work, he says they're not pure corn. Anyway, okay, so we now have. And by the way, again, a lot of these performances, it's very interesting. A lot of them, they also inspire other boys and girls. One young lady came up to me behind stage there earlier and she was saying, can I be on the stage next year? And I said, anybody can be on the stage, but she was really inspired by some of the different performances. And the next performance that we have, they've only been practicing this for 2 weeks. So literally just 2 weeks. And there's 4 or 5 dancers, and one of them is as young as 9. So she's just 9 years old, and they've only had 2 weeks to perform. And they're going to do the Mangal Charan, or the auspicious beginning. And this is an Odissi dance for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. And the tutor, or the dance teacher, is Rukmini, and her guru is Pratap Narayan. So again, we would like, for the last dance performance of Gopani in 2013, we would like a wonderful Mayapur welcome for Rukmini and her dance group. Hari Hari Bol.
and honors the earth. Also, his coming was to open us the greatest mysteries of the universe. And there is no greater mystery than love. So listen to the message with rapt attention It is extremely difficult to foresee the activities of the Supreme Lord. For most of the time, when he does even seemingly insignificant things, he reaches many goals and purposes. For example, why, after just being born in Mathura, he left to have his childhood in Vrindavan? Or why, all of a sudden he left Vrindavan, yet dropped his heart there? When Shri Krishna ruled as a king of Dwarka, once he showed one of his most wonderful pastimes. King of Dwarka looks very sick. The Supreme Master of the universe is in his royal bed now. In fever, he again and again whispers someone's name. And if to move very near to him, we will be able to hear how continuous he calls. Blood, blood, blood. But that is the secret. It is not for everyone to know. The secret is known only by us, and inhabitants of the palace are only going to discover it. In the morning, not to disturb his sleep, comes Lord's wife, the most beautiful of all the queens of the universe. Her name is Rukmini Devi. Unable to understand what's going on with her beloved, she wants to call Satyabhama, another queen of Lord Krishna. Uddhava coming. He is closest friend and first minister of Krishna. Queens want him to help them in making proper decisions. After checking Lord's state, Uddhava calls the best doctors of the capital and abroad to come and investigate. Doctors and healers immediately came, carrying with them herbs and medicines. Looks, no one of them can do any real help. He at last came, greatest of all known physicians. For sure, he might know what had happened to the Lord. After detailed research, he tells that the Lord might be exhausted with too much governmental work and he just needs to have change of environment and to have a rest for some time. So, to entertain the Lord, it was arranged a big fast. For a short time, I stopped commenting the story. Let us just have a look at the event. in spite all efforts of dancers and actors, King Gurvaraka Krishna doesn't feel much relief. So Satyabhama offers to call for a great mystic from Himalayas. And as soon as they thought of him, he appeared. Nothing had helped. All remedies were tried, but with no success. And you know our lives. There is a chance for wonder to come about. Great sage and prophet Narada appears suddenly in the palace. Narada requests to let him for a short time to stay with the Lord alone, to try to find out the cause of his strange disease. Shri Krishna has a great secret, but he can't reveal it to Narada yet. The Lord missed so much Vrindavan, but he is so ashamed that he left Vrindavan like he did. Busy with his great mission in Mathura, he did pay not a single visit to the Raj. Oh, how many times he wanted to offer prostrated obeisances at their feet for forgiveness and love. So, the Lord made a wonderful plan on how to beg pardon from inhabitants of Vrindavan in such a way that the whole world would come in touch at least with the smallest drop of their sacred love. Shri Krishna says to Narada that only the dust from the feet of the person who loves him with the whole heart, who would grieve and go to hell just to mitigate others' sufferings, whose love, faith, and hope do not have material bones, from the feet of such person can bring relief when spread around the head and body. The Lord sends Narada to find that great soul and bring the dust to the palace. Helped. All remedies were tried but with no success. And usually, when there is no hope in our lives, there is a chance for wonder to come about. Great sage and prophet Narada appears suddenly in the palace.
Music.
Narada thinks now, it is big offense to turn up one's toes toward deities. What to speak of spreading the dust of one feet on his head? So strange desire my Lord has this time. Once he asks me to tell Brahmana and Cobbler that he has a fun of putting through the needle a camel, just to try the faith of both of them. What does he have this time in his mind? Interesting. Who will dare to do what he asks? Who has as much of faith and love? Of course, we all would immediately rush to Vrindavan, but Narada is not aware of our secret yet. So, he is going to look for great self-realized souls among hermits, yogis, and brahmanas. Who else thinks Narada could be more renounced than sacrificial people on the planet but them? Narada knows that the body of the Lord is sacred, and to smear it with the dust of own feet is a sin and royal path to the hell. How Narada could even think that it is possible that Brahmana could do such an unworthy deed? Offended Brahmana goes, thinking that Narada Muni just mocked him. Sage Narada continued his travel with the hope to meet someone else who would agree to help him to cure the Lord. Narada traveled a lot. So many people, sages and ascetics he had met, but everyone refused. Finally, path brought him to the highest of Himalayan mountains, where meditated yogis and hermits. Narada knows that transcendental truths are personal and can't be influenced by trickle sufferings of the mortal world. Looks, Narada intentionally disturbs his yoga practice. Yet Andrew leaves, most probably to look for another place for upliftment. Narada Muni realizes some of transcendentalists are too advanced to believe that there is a chance to the Supreme Truth to be a person. And it is more difficult to them to believe that in spite of being supreme, independent transcendence, he might need our association and love. Exhausted with his research, in despair, Narada decides to ask the same from those who were very near to the Lord in his childhood. and he directed his wanderings to Vrindavan. Just look how happy Narada is. He is going to meet those great souls who shared with the Lord Shri Krishna his childhood pastimes. For sure, they are pure devotees of the Lord, and dust from their feet will help him. Narada Muni crushes the Lord. And nothing could help him. And there is only one remedy in the world to bring him relief. It is a dust from the feet of that person who loves him the most. As soon the Lord will spray his body and hair with the dust from the feet of pure-hearted soul, his disease will go, and he will take his hands in your hands. Refuse to give Narada what he asks. They tell him, if they really would be pure and great souls as he tells, loving Krishna, he would pay them with the same as he promises in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. But if the Lord is not with them for so many years, that means they are not so great, but their hearts as well. Oops, left. On the forest shore after moving the last hole. Here Gop is coming for water of Yamuna. Like many years back. The only reason why gopis continue their duties is the hope that Shri Krishna might come back, and they must get Vrindavan as it was when they were children here. Of separation with dear Govinda, is just tolerate every hour and second of their life. Tried by divine passion for the Lord. Every second they think only of Him. Wakened by gopis, Narada starts to tell them his story. When gopis learned that the Lord needs so little to become happy, they in rush started to collect the dust they just touched. Narada asks them if they're not afraid to go to hell. They laugh. Narada asks why to give all happiness to the person who left, promising to be back soon. And in fact, he didn't drop even a single message back. Eyes of some gopis drop tears, but they continue to collect the dust. Gopis left. Narada follows with his glance the simple village ladies, unable to understand how some hearts can fit so much of great love. When they totally disappeared from his eyes, he quietly spread the raw dust touched by their holy feet on his head. Filled with unexpressible new feeling, excited by the evidence of unseen before selfless love, his voice choked and body trembles. Narada goes to Dwarka. His body trembles as he again and again spreads the dust all over the body. Then he spreads the dust on Narada, Uddhava, and his queens. To experience same sacred love as Vrindavan gopis, Lord sent the dust around with the wind. Smallest particle with a